Okay, y'all, welcome back to Anime Savants, and this week I am Ronovel. I don't know, is that the right is that the right way? I forgot her name already. I think that's it. I'm Ronovel.
That's a good one. Especially, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, y'all will know. Y'all will find out who that is later.
Who am I this week? I gotta think about that one. There's so many choices.
I mean, there's a lot of shit going on.
Okay. I'll think I'll be Shi-Woon from The Breaker because we're up to chapter 10 of season 3 and I'm loving it.
Oh, okay. So it's still going strong. Okay.
And it's in color now. That's what I'm saying.
All right, and then let's just go ahead. We'll go ahead and do Spy Family, y'all. Spy X Family. I mean, great episode as usual. Like, the fuck, like, nothing new here. I actually really enjoyed just like the Briar chaos, like the drunkenness, and Yuri's voice actor is hilarious. The way that he was acting when like the kiss was actually about to fucking go down and shit like that, and just all the levels that he went to, I loved it. It was a really good showing. It was really good. And Yuri got drunk, and Anya came out, and Unky, she's calling him Unky already. Things like that.
Please return my Waku Waku.
Yeah. Yeah. Adorable shit. And also it was kind of like sad, but then also endearing with the whole you're being followed and then tested by Lloyd. It was very like unexpected for me. I just didn't really expect him to like go that hard on it, and I expected it to like fuck up. I expected something to go wrong and like jeopardize what they've set up, but nothing went wrong, and Yor did what I expected her to do. She was gonna beat their asses. So, and homeboy got what it was coming to him. He was so cocky. I knew as soon as he started mouthing, I was like, that mouth's gonna keep talking, and it will not be able to cash them checks.
He went here. What's with my man getting rowdy because he's got a cute mask?
He loves it.
Is that how it works in real life?
He was doing the same thing at the damn castle, going hardcore into the villain role. But also, he warned Lloyd. He said, "Yo, you better not. Don't fall in love. Don't actually fall in love." Which means he's definitely falling in love. Like, are you kidding me? He's definitely falling in love.
It's a very interesting dynamic, I think, with the core cast, because there's like a version of this story that doesn't have the relationship angle in it. You know what I mean? Like there's a version where it's about the deception, right? And I think there was a more serious anime that ran last season that kind of had the same vibe, where it was like one person was a bounty hunter, the other was an assassin, and that also was like a love story, but like the vibe was a little bit different. But you add that extra piece of like teasing the audience, like, oh, they're getting close. It adds, I think, a level of excitement to a lot of the more mundane relationship moments, because you're like, is this where someone's gonna realize something? Nah, bro, it ain't.
No.
But it's fun. And Frankie's character is underrated because he's kind of also having an arc over the first, like, season that we're getting that's very low key. When you meet him, he's just the informant, right? Like, they're at a newspaper stand, and you would be remiss if you didn't think that you'd never see that character again, because it was just passing some information. Then in the next episode, he's actually in the house because he's the one helping Lloyd
in drag and shit.
Yeah, in drag. So all right away, the character dynamic there flops, where he's now or some of the comic relief of the story, and of course his character gets more and more over the top as he is drawn into doing the actual like Lloyd's little plans here and there are always getting him involved and he's kind of like living out a fantasy of actually being a spy,
Even
right?
though he's
Because
just an informant.
he's just an informant, right? But in that episode where, they got the castle, this guy was just like hamming it up. He was going crazy because this was the most exciting thing that he had done. And now in this week's episode, he gets to take a step further where he's joining Lloyd on this sort of undercover operation. He's in character. He's going crazy. His voice changed. He's doing the like the Yankee punk accent to really like fuck with your and then right at the end when that part is over and Lloyd rips his face mask off, he is just fucking distraught. And he's like berating him like, you're fucking hot. Like, I thought I was going to be able to use this mask for a little bit. Like, women won't talk to me if they see this face. I was like, this guy's funny. He's having himself a little time, kind of the way Anya does, with like the excitement of being around the spy stuff. But he's obviously an adult and he's dealing with whatever he's dealing with. But I think it's fun to see him kind of going crazy. Bit by bit every other episode as well. He's not just there for jokes.
Yeah. Now I'm just looking forward to whenever Anya and Yuri cross paths. And she reads what's going on in that head. I'm looking forward to that.
I like that they kept them separate in the beginning.
It makes me believe that it's going to be a big encounter because they were like kept separate.
Right, exactly. And also that Lloyd got to play the role of Anya in the story. For those couple episodes, because it was all his internal monologue of having discovered who Yuri was, but without betraying that. So I like that. I like that the dynamic got shifted and it still worked. So, you hear the cat here having something to say.
Attention.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, this episode kind of flew by. But I did think that there were like a couple of points with respect to Lloyd and Yor, in the sense that, yes, the sort of like mocked up arrest situation was probably like a kind of violation of trust.
Yeah.
But he felt bad about it the whole time. It was like he couldn't turn off.
And he lied. Because Frankie did ask him, do you feel me? No. I don't feel it. Oh, yes, you do. Come on.
Yeah. And I appreciated the fact that, like, here, again, we get the duality of Lloyd. Because he's a fun character, but, like, he does use people all the time. And that's kind of, his... When we met him in episode 1, his personality was, I'll do anything for the mission. So he like breaks this woman's heart in order to get close to her dad and all this stuff. So you see he's like a cold-blooded kind of person. And then here's the first time where he's kind of doing the same thing that he was doing in episode 1, but he now feels bad about it the whole way through. Which is, I think, it's a good period on this stage of his character development. Of course, Yor was such an earnest person, despite the fact that she's a psychopathic murderer who's like covering up her, I guess, I don't know if it's evil, but like whatever she's doing is not good.
Her job. Also, them office women are so fucking mean.
Oh, they fucking just suck.
Oh my god. I'm just like, y'all are some evil bitches. No, but you're so innocent in a sense that she just puts up with it because that's just her life. Or that's just one facet of her life that she needs to maintain to continue to do what she really wants to do. Just chopping niggas up and stabbing them.
It's, again, Yor's character is like almost the inverse of Lloyd, because when she's out in her public persona, she's earnestly trying to be a normal person on the outside.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I mean, it's calculated, yes. I'm almost like literally calculated, but the way it's performed is very earnest. It's like, oh, what do I have to do to be a good wife? So but her motivations are just not the motivation you would expect. Most people are like, oh, because I love my husband or partner and I want to be the best person for them. That's a normal person. Her, it's like she's incredibly grateful to this, what she believes is a normal man.
Yeah.
Even though his circumstances are insane, she's like, oh, this person took me as I am, this horrible human being, which could be like, I mean, it's clearly the source of her self-loathing, which is obviously a bad thing. And it's unlike in a lot of series, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit later, about like harem series where you get these female characters who are they're one note and they're devoted to the first man who treated them like a half of a human being. Yours kind of doing the same thing, but her motivations actually make a lot more sense. So, I think it's cool.
Yeah. I agree. I don't really have anything else to say about that one. I mean, it was pretty straightforward.
So what else have you watched this week?
I caught up on whatchamacallit? Otome game. And it was just so pleasing. Like it's so pleasing. Like even this most recent episode. So I completely get I feel like it's definitely like top 3 this season. Like easily, simply based off of where they're taking the story and how like all of the characters are getting development. Every single one of them. Like, I would maybe even the sister character a little bit, but like the prince and his entourage, like they're getting shit like thrown in their faces, and we're actually seeing and like hearing their inner thoughts of actually maybe I was a shitty person, or like I actually do need to
when he runs into Chris on the deck, and I liked there was a line where he said like, "Oh, you had a duel with the other guy, Greg, I think, or something like that," and it's like. The context of that was the explaining the very next sentence where he's like they're having a little argument about like, oh well, Greg sucks at sword fighting or whoever it was, and I got his ass whooped, but you're actually good at it, and then you're trying to face me. Oh, aren't you a piece of shit? And then the guy's like, my father told me I was trash. I was like, oh, bro. Like, because you're getting these like you're realizing these characters, the reason why they have the flaws that they have are explainable, and in some ways kind of you pity them.
Yeah.
They've been so deflated from like the first 3 episodes where they're just all high and mighty and they have all this power. They've literally had like everything taken away from them. They've been humiliated. People treat them like shit now. And, they have to humble. So they're going through a much more complete arc of growth than our main character, who's still like putting on this act of being a dickhead. For no good reason. Like, there's no reason for him to be so shitty to everybody.
I'm seeing, especially within, like, episode 8 and 9, Leon is getting challenged. And he's having a hard time dealing with the shit. And I'm overjoyed. I don't know. It's entertaining. It's just really entertaining to see the main character not simply just say, oh, well, I actually had this, ability or this mindset the whole time.
Not right all the time.
Struggling.
A lot of characters, they're just like, oh, because I have perfect knowledge, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be right. I'll be morally correct. I will have planned around this. I have all the answers, right? Maybe it takes a little while to get there. Leon, after episode 8, has been kind of wrong about everything. Like his emotional reactions are wrong. The way he treats his friends is wrong. His knowledge about the future is not helping him anymore.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes. And that's something that's exciting to me, where the stuff that's happening in the end game in the game is happening now. So that means the series is going towards a point where he won't know what the fuck is going on anymore. He won't be able to predict it anymore. And that's exciting to me. But also, I really enjoyed how the previous, mini arc ended with the pirates. How the pirates were, captured or whatever. And the 2 henchmen, not the 2 henchmen, but, the 2 Prince Entourage dudes went through a little bit of, arc themselves. But also, at the end of the arc, it did not feel like everything was okay. It felt like stuff was still messy and dirty.
And they've been worse off than it was by far going in.
And they haven't resolved the Olivia shit.
No.
It has not been resolved. I understand that they want to say, when she said, you're treating me, am I your pet? It really rang true because the other girl has been calling her their pet the whole time. But she's literally saying, hey, I am. You treat me like a pet. I'm y'all's pet. And it makes sense that he's been treating her that way because he doesn't actually see her as a real human. He sees her as an NPC that he has to take care of.
Right.
So So a pet.
And it's interesting the way this episode ended. So the way it started was it was like we're going back to the structure. The character knows the game. He knows an event that's coming up. He's got a plan to like
War
get the
charm
best reward.
shit.
Yeah, like everything's all it's back to normal. This is how he's back, or I'm saying but this is how Leon is now relating to the world. Okay, I'm in the game again. Let's go. None of this weird shit. None of my friends are out here having problems and feelings. I'm gonna just, fuck this world up as I normally do. But almost immediately, it doesn't go well. So like he is lamenting in the beginning about how before he wanted a marriage, a low key marriage with just a girl who liked him, and but one that would take him out of the story of what's going on. Now he's realizing that as he's had success and wealth and other things in the world that are supposed to like, make things easy, actually all the women around who could be partners only want him for his money. Yeah. Which is something making him unhappy. So you get to the situation when they're on the boat, and they point out multiple times in this episode that he is not liked. This is not like, one of those stories where the main character becomes a hero and everybody likes him. I don't know if there's ever been an episode where like more than just the core, couple of people come around to actually like enjoying him. Like he made those two friends in the beginning, the two guys. Yeah. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So the whatever this attack happens and he gets fucking stomped out by his own classmates, which had me laughing my ass off.
God. I was so mad. I literally was like, call Luxion and kill these niggas right now.
They were stomping that one motherfucker who kicked him directly in the face, which is great. They
went and slapped Olivia. I was like, you have to slap her? Damn.
Yeah, these people, they normally you do that in order to make to justify something horrible that the main character's gonna do, like abandoning them all to die. We'll talk about horrible main characters, I think, a little bit later. But in this case, in a weird way, it was important that he get humiliated because the story was getting to a place where he was overpowered and he had an answer for all the situations. This one, he doesn't know why this event is happening. He has no, like, his super armor, all of that stuff is somewhere else, so he can't use it. He's overmatched immediately in surprise. He's tied down by large numbers of people. He gets his ass kicked. He gets thrown in jail. And he's sitting there fucking sulking. Like Olivia's over there like on her hands and knees. Like he can't do anything. He can't help anyone. He can't help himself. He can't rescue people. He's just fucked. And then Chris shows up and is like, clearly it humbles him to be like, man, I got asked this piece of shit.
And he's like, help. No. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, he said fuck you. I don't want to help any of y'all motherfuckers. I like that line where he's like, they could all die or whatever. It's like, yeah, I can see why he would feel that way. Yeah. But then obviously, he thinks better of it, and he's still not a good person. He kind of says it multiple times, like, I don't like any of these people. I'm not going to save them, for free. They got to do some fucking work. And then they have that speech where, like, Chris tries to relive his old role as a icon in the community that they have, and he's been so thoroughly, emasculated and
they're like, shut the fuck up.
Right, that nobody wants to listen to him. And then Leon shows up, and he's like, well, first of all, they needed a slightly larger shotgun model because it looked kind of tiny. Yeah, in his hand a little bit. But he did have badass. My man walked out here. He had the gun over one shoulder, talking about like y'all motherfuckers are fake. Like you ain't real. You ain't real.
Trust fund babies.
Right, and he got everybody fired up because they hated him and didn't like to be talked down. But that was the kind of moment from like. That he was doing in episode 3 with the princes. That I felt like when that arc was over, what's the excuse for him to have that kind of a monologue ever again? Well, the answer is the rest of the class can be the subject. And then that Deirdre chick showed up, and she's a archetype.
It's
right
over.
There.
It's she's gonna be chasing his ass forever now.
Yeah, he's like, you're like a feral dog. I'm like, oh god, it's one of those. It's one of those.
I do like her last name, Roseblade. I was like, yo, that kind of sounds kind of hard. I like that. Roseblade.
When she said her name out loud, I'm like, yep, more English. Here we go. Oh! They even hold it back one little bit. So there's that, and then there's a scene with the charms, which I thought was another sign that he wasn't prepared.
I thought that was a sign that they're all just gonna get married.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, I thought
I
that. I
don't
was
care.
like, okay, you're telling us they're getting married. Whatever.
Yeah,
Great.
I don't
Whatever.
even know if the story goes that far. I have no idea. But like,
Yeah.
but the thing I liked about it was that it was just another indication of him not being ready or prepared for anything. And so when they're, the little priestess says, "Oh, you guys must be great friends," and they all look down like, we kind of fucked up.
Well, oh, well, okay. Well, I would just say like one other thing that I noticed throughout the whole episode is that the Olivia shit is still it's right there. It's like right there in the background, even at the very end where she was just looking up at him like that with expectant eyes. I'm just like, you're not resolving
No,
this. Like it's
no,
right there. You're not
no.
resolving it, and it applies to that like shrine scene too.
So I liked it. Tension. We'll get some stuff. I mean, we got a couple episodes left, so kind of got
Oh,
our.
is it like 13?
I think I think this is episode 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's 12.
Oh, okay.
I would presume it's
I
12.
could,
I mean,
yeah, I could see them wrapping this up with this. I do want to know what the dukedom is, stuff like that. I will say the dukedom's general or whatever, he did a really good job of making me hate him immediately.
oh, the motherfucker with the mustache.
With the mustache, yo, I kind of was just
they needed
yeah.
that character in this part of the story because they're obviously introducing another like female
World,
character that's gonna be there for a while, and so you need somebody that you can humiliate, and like really focus all of the attention of the story to just like, oh, I really want that guy to pay for what he did. Because if you don't have that, then it's like, what's really going on? It's a bunch of fish, and like Angelica's on another ship. Like, go get her. It's not that big a deal. But to have him instigate all that and then have him humiliate. First of all, he's gonna kill all of them. So like he's got to go. Period. But then to also have him humiliate the main character, get Olivia slapped up, take the girl. It was good.
I did want Angelica to beat that other bitch's ass up, but the queen came herself to arrest that girl. So
What you
that's
gonna do?
over.
What you gonna do?
Over. How was I'm quitting heroing this week?
It is good.
Okay.
So I don't know, where are you in the? Have you watched Eddie or what's up?
I haven't started yet. I think I'm just gonna marathon it like Sunday or like Saturday or Sunday and shit, and just like get through it.
I think I talked a little bit last week, again trying to avoid major spoilers, but this series went in a direction around episode like 6 or 7 that I was not expecting, and it set up a dynamic which, if you watch something like Code Geass with Lelouch's sort of character towards the end of the series, we've seen this type of dynamic before, where you have a main character whose ultimate goal is essentially to die. That's what they want to do. They want to die. And for whatever reason, they either can't do it or they want to die in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And so they villainize themselves in order to, make a tragic ending, right? Like whether it's like like in Fate with every character in Fate. There's that idea. So they're playing with that dynamic right now in the story. And frankly, if you'd asked me, like, episode 2 or 3, would I care a lot about the supporting cast's feelings about that kind of a dynamic? I probably would have told you no. And the reason would have been that they felt in the beginning as if they were kind of cardboard cutouts of archetypes, and that the main meat of the story was going to be about like equating this fantasy world to office life. And so for the most part, I was watching it because, oh, that's cute. They're dealing with like this type of repetitively annoying coworker, or a person who can't open up, or managing people. Like, that's a nice little hook, and I can sort of settle into that. The last like 3 episodes have not really been about that at all. It's actually kind of been about the ways in which the main character's intent to pass on that kind of knowledge and also help all the people who are around is being twisted and turned around into a kind of tragic reversal.
Oh, shit.
Which is doing more than I ever would have thought that the show would try to do with just that stuff. So I felt bad. There was really a scene here where, like, there's nothing groundbreaking. You kind of know what the main character is trying to do, and that, he's not telling the whole truth, and his new friends, I actually consider them friends now because of the way they've told that story, that it's now meaningful when they do the whole thing of like trying to stop what he wants to do in the way that they want to do it. And it led to at least 2 scenes in this episode where I actually genuinely believed, like I bought into the emotional part of the story they're trying to tell, which is a lot. That's asking a lot. There are shows that I love that I don't buy into any of the, emotional aspect. And certainly this is not like a world beater. It's not like, oh my God, it's beautiful animation. And I'm sure like how you relate to Pretty Cure, in that there will be great seasons where the animation's awesome and you really like a character. And the difference between the seasons where it's just the animation, it's just the characters, and the ones where it's both.
Yeah.
This one is like, it's the characters. The characters are actually kind of doing it for me, and I do feel kind of attached to them and feel bad that they feel bad about like what's going on. So without again giving any spoilers away about the direction of the plot, they found some interesting ideas that I didn't think were going to ever be a part of the story. Now, how it wraps up, what they're leading to in the last couple episodes of this season, and probably the last couple episodes of the show. I don't think there may not be more. Maybe there's a light novel. Someone tell me if there's a light novel that's a billion, fucking chapters long or a billion volumes long. I don't know the answer to that. But I enjoy it. And then, it gets out of my life and I don't have to worry about it too much. So it's just like, it's still a pleasant watch. It's just not telling the story at all that I thought they were going to try to tell by any means.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one then. I'm just going to fucking marathon it. I'm not even going to make videos for the channel. I'm just going to watch that on my own. Because that's the main thing that was holding me up. But I want to watch it as it airs. I don't want to like have it all come out and then be like, I got to add this to my listing. So I didn't watch anything else, but I did read some things this week. And the first thing that I read, which when I say I've read, I mean I've started. I have not gotten very far in these. But I started reading FFF Class Trash Hero, and wow, laugh out loud funny, like fucking hilarious, but also fucking degenerate. Just like
fully degenerate, 100%
absolute
degenerate.
Just like, and I'm still on the first reincarnation. Like I know there are more based off of what you said.
Yeah, we're at number 7 right now.
Oh my God! Yeah, this nigga doesn't dare. I can perfectly see how it gets there, but oh my God. So like, it's not even the fact that like he's the way that he is, but it's the fact that like when the teacher tries to give him a lesson, he turns the shit. Yeah, he takes it wrong, and then when she tries to lecture him about it, he turns it on her ass, and she just shuts the fuck up and is like, I mean, he's kind of right about this aspect. And he's in the background, like, grinning. Like, that fucking smile that he does is so... Okay, so... At first, when they first started, the first chapter, it's kind of deceptive because I'm thinking, oh, okay, he beat the Demon King. Like, what's the problem? Like, yeah, he kind of sounds like an asshole, but what's the problem? And then the goddess says, yeah, but you killed your entire party yourself. Like, right before you killed the Demon King. and then I'm like, wait, what? Like, nigga, what? And then he goes on a rant, and he's like, yeah, they're fucking annoying. I suffered for 10 fucking years. I fucking killed them niggas. And I'm like, okay. And so they're like, yeah, great. You get an S for combat ability, and you basically fail everything else. So you gotta do it again. And then I'm pretty sure there's more to this as I get deeper into the story, but they mentioned that like other people are doing this simultaneously. Like he's not the only person to ever have done it. And so I'm kind of under the impression that it's kind of like a reincarnation program for like shitty people on Earth. And he's just not gonna get out of it because it's not even the way that, how do I put it? It's just who he is. It really is just who the fuck this nigga is. And I'm only like, what, 25, 30 chapters
God.
in or whatever. The way that he treats Ronuville, the way that he treats the fucking porter, the way, the conversation, the first conversation that he had with the king, just absolute out of here. And then you see his thought process in his mind. He's going, oh, well, I could do it this way, and this would actually be like something amicable. But fuck this bitch and fuck you, nigga. I want this. Give it here. You owe me. You all are fucking useless. You're peasants beneath my fucking feet. The fucking black market. Oh my god.
I love the black market. The black market is the best.
I was not ready for this shit. That's where they showed. They were like, yeah, this shit is, first of all, bloody, and second of all, he zero, just like absolute fucking zero. When he killed homegirl, I was like, wait,
queen. He was like, I got tricked. I'll be honest. I got tricked to that part. I was like, oh, look, her level's high. He's going to try to make a companion out of her. Goes through all this
That's
shit.
what I thought. I was like, yo. I thought instead of bringing the princess, he was going to bring this girl, but get that girl to stop the princess from doing the rampage somehow. And, whatever. Or like, molest the girl in front of the princess and basically be like, she's mine. No. Killed her. Killed her straight up. And then just proceeded to just murk. Just like, kill this. And one of the running gags that kills me is that he gets mad constantly at Ronuville and the porter for stealing his experience. He's like, no, you can't kill nobody. Like, I kill everybody. That's mine. It's my experience. Fuck out of here. Like, and they found, so where I'm at now, they're attacking the orc camp. They found another super high level fucking elven woman. She sees him with the elven sword, Endymion or whatever, and she starts screaming, da da da. And then we get to the point where she's just talking, he just fucking stabs her in the fucking throat.
Yep.
And I'm like, what?
Like, nope. Goodbye.
But also, I really can't wait. The show, not the show, but the series, it's just so, I don't know, it's so enjoyable. Like, it's degenerate shit. It's degenerate shit. But when the prince got his ass, where he was like, oh yeah, you level 4? Yeah, you wouldn't be able to pick that shit up if you were level 4. But then also, all the previous scenes, he was clocking the prince, because the prince's status was satisfied the entire time that he was talking about the dad and the sister. I was like, oh, that nigga's happy that she's gone. Like, over fucking joy. Like, sad. So, they both got something that they wanted out of the situation. And so, I'm just thinking, oh my god, this nigga is he's just gonna end up either he's gonna meet someone who's gonna be, like, objectively against him completely, or he's gonna meet someone here where he has to, like, watch his shit. Because I like how the power level stuff is, once you pass level 1,000, you don't know how strong that nigga is.
That's right.
And so that's what I'm thinking is like a power check. Like that keeps him in line in a sense once he runs across someone like that, where it's just like, no nigga, you're not the best. And you can get murked. Like, you can absolutely get murked. So
yeah, and you're not that far, so I don't want to give away sort of the extremity of the things that happen. But I think what you said before is very true. Hansu is the main character. What he represents is something that I wish more authors who like to sort of play with these types of degenerate main characters would do, which is find a new angle to have a genuinely bad person do things, or let me say this right. Maybe I'm saying this quite a little bit wrong. So he's a bad guy. He's selfish. He's impulsive. He's very easily annoyed. He's narcissistic. He's cruel. He doesn't care about life at all.
No.
In any capacity. It's sometimes even up to and including his own. He's spiteful. All those things are true, and they're all amped up to like a 10 or 11. What happens a lot of times in stories like this, or with characters like this, is that in reality, they're meant to be a author or reader insert. And so at the end of the day, they are treated at some level, like they are secretly a great person.
Yeah.
And that aspect is usually like some kind of twisted nobility or whatever else. Somehow this series manages to balance how much of an asshole the main character is, not necessarily by making him out to be just or some other very clear positive trait, but by constantly reminding you that everyone else in the world is full of shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like so like you don't mind as much after a while that he's also a shitty person, and and they communicate directly, at least in the manga. I don't know about the novel version. His inner thoughts, and his inner thoughts are almost never altruistic.
No.
Almost never. Even to the point where he realizes that he's only judged on what people see of him and not necessarily what he is thinking or his motivations. And that becomes a part, but even that becomes a part of the story. I mean, you kind of pointed out here, like, he listens to the teacher and does the wrong thing, but it's also a part of him learning how the whole system works.
Yeah.
But all it does is lead to more depravity, not less, because once he knows how to keep up appearances, then his schemes escalate.
Oh my god. Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's around chapter 70. Let's put it that way. There's some shit. There's some fucking shit that just, I mean, full on. This nigga is irredeemable. But it's great. Wow. It's fun. You like to see him get one up on the various, other characters, the other creatures, the other situations. There's a whole thing about this like demon cat that puts a curse on him that made me laugh like desperately because it was one of the funniest things. It actually led to what I think is the funniest shit that the series has ever done. And it involves a giant transforming robot, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I laughed and laughed because the translation. I think this is what the author actually wrote, but and if it is, mad props. Because there's a Captain Planet reference, and I just fell over.
Okay.
Fucking fell over.
Yeah. I am just so... I'm all in. It's fucking hilarious. And in addition to that, I also started one more thing. I also started Omniscient Reader. Or Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at first I was just calling it like Omniscient Reader, but then after I got to a certain point, I was like, oh shit, this is a skill. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a second, what's going on? So for the first part, I will say that like the first, like the chapter 0, like chapter 1 was long as fuck. Oh my god.
Yes.
I was like, Jesus, is this shit gonna end? It was really long, but when things started moving, at first I was thinking, is this just gonna be another like a survival thing, and there's gonna be a group of people, and it's gonna be like, I'm gonna make sure everyone gets out of this alive, and we're gonna do it. And very quickly they were like, this is not that kind of rodeo, bitch. Like, we're not doing this. He's not doing this in particular. He's not doing it. Buckle the fuck up. So when you get a glimpse of what's going to happen, but then when the first scenario like comes in, the thing that kind of got me the most is when he told Homegirl, basically, you on your own. And I was like, oh, wait, so she's not like heroine? Like, immediate, like, co-worker girl? Like, he legit was like, she's on her own. And then when she survived the first scenario, the nigga was like, oh, I'm surprised she's live. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, you live, bitch? Okay, cool. Whatever. The whole thing, I don't know. It's just good. The pacing is phenomenal. But also the fact that he does not have a problem killing from the jump. There is no moral, this is my first time killing, and I don't know. No. The first scenario, he's literally like, I have to make sure this little nigga loses. Because he's going to be a problem. So he's going to have to die. Get this motherfucker
out of here.
Get this nigga out of here. Get him out of here. So with that, I'm already like, whoa, okay, like, damn. Then we get to the next part where he's running from the protagonist. And I'm like, why is he running from the protagonist? And then I'm thinking, oh, so is he not the protagonist of like this story? Like he's the protagonist through our eyes, but like is he gonna co-opt the protagonist role in the story because he knows everything that's gonna happen? I haven't even gotten that far yet. All I know is that nigga yoked that nigga up by the fucking thing. There's a literal skill of the fourth wall that prevents.
I thought that was cute. I thought that concept was really cute.
Yeah, I didn't see the bookmark function being used at all yet, but they showed that he had the skill, so I was like, that's definitely coming back. I just don't know when nor how. And it's good. It's really fucking good. The art is fucking amazing. The pacing's fucking amazing. The characters are amazing. The way that this nigga literally, like, he's carrying which, I mean, the main character should do that, but, like, he's carrying the entire show by himself, and it's just so fucking interesting. And I feel like I can't really think of anything else right now, or any series in particular where, like, something similar happens where the MC knows what the future is going to be.
Yeah, I will say that, like, so when I ran across this series around the time I was really diving in to manhwa. We talked a little bit about it way back when we had that manhwa episode last year, and prior to this, my only sort of diet of manhwa was God of High School. Then I picked up Solo Leveling, like a lot of people did, and stumbled into Tower of God, and really started this. So that was like my original 3. As I went through the process of reading a lot of other stuff, I quickly realized that a lot like light novels, the manhwa space is overrun with clones of basically the same story and the same character over and over again. Omniscient Reader is great because what it does is it takes a lot of that old and worn out ideas, regressor stories, omniscient main character stories, and then what I would call like a social media-ified death game worlds, which are all very common in light novels and manhwa and in some manga adaptations and so on. And it kind of doesn't turn them upside down, it turns them on the side, because what they do is they insert Kim's character as an omniscient cipher for the story, but sticks him next to an actual regressor who is the main character. And by having our point of view be somebody who intrinsically knows what's going on, but from the very beginning is altering the course of the story and has dramatic run-ins with characters he is aware of that are more powerful than him, you kind of get around one of the dramatic problems with stories like this, which is there is actual threat and danger that the main character can't overcome by strength. Yes, there's still sort of like plot armor, that is true, but his way out of nearly every problem is not happenstance. It's taking advantage of the rules of the world and teaching us, the audience, what those rules are, so that it feels like you learned something after he gets out of a situation. Perfect example is that when he runs into the main character, when Kim does, are they both named Kim? I keep forgetting.
I think so.
But either way, when he kind of runs into the main character for the first time, he doesn't know which regression that character is on, and because he's read the book, so he knows that at different states, when depending on the regression, he might be very friendly and amicable. Other regressions he might keep to himself. Other regressions he might be bloodthirsty and murderous. So he doesn't know going in which version of the main character he's getting. Well, he figures it out really quickly, and that character is much, much stronger than he is. So in another sort of story, this would be about the side character overcoming and overpowering the real hero of the story to replace him. Instead, in this story, Kim has to bluff. He has to take advantage of other rules just to survive that encounter and survive other similar encounters. And because all the other characters in the story don't know, about his foreknowledge, and it's written into the the setup, right? He's the only person who stuck around with this dying web novel
Yeah.
to get to the end, which it's kind of a nice hook for a reader because you kind of like you can project yourself onto that emotion that he had going in. Oh, okay. Well, now every sort of contest, yes, there's a lot of action that happens, especially as he gets stronger and the party gets bigger and other things happen. But at the end of the day, it's about manipulating the rules in order to get certain outcomes to happen to rescue the scenario that they're in. And it's a great, like, exciting ride that just moves very
Yeah.
quickly. It gives you lots of interesting characters, powers, abilities, scenarios, and then when something gets old, they just kind of move right on. So it's good.
Yeah. I just got to the point where he like walked into the second stage. So there's like poison, and he just like washed all them niggas in the underground area where he saved that girl. But as far as the pacing goes with the serpent, I thought that was going to be like a much longer thing for him to get out of.
Mm-hmm.
Next chapter, it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Moving. So, yeah, I'm enjoying both of those so much. So, I mean, and there's another list that I'm also like planning, not another list, but like there's a list of them that I'm just going to like start all of them. And then like whichever one just like, grips me, then I'll go through, catch up, and then I'll just hop on another one, go through, catch up, etc., etc. Because I'm caught up on Tower of God, God of High School. I'm making my way through it, but I wanted a little bit something different. So I was like, let me check out some other stuff real quick. So those are the things that I read this week in addition to that.
Yeah.
Which,
So I think I'm going to save the other thing that I read this week as for the recommendation. So do you want to talk about news items such as they are this week?
I really don't have that much news. I would just say, racist weebs are talking about the One Piece casting. Not really surprised. They're adopted sisters, y'all. It happens. I feel like that's about it. I didn't really see anything. One Piece is going on break, but I mean, I'm not surprised by that either, cause like that nigga's been working like crazy. Like I'm pretty sure on a whole bunch, like including the movie, let alone the manga, and he is like heavily involved with the Netflix adaptation also. So like, yeah, take a break, do what you got to do. Hunter x Hunter. I mean, we talked about that, and I mean, well, you can talk about the other news item that's happening right now, but because that really doesn't even apply to me, because I still have yet to. Whose panties are these? Okay, well, that was on the front page of Anime News Network. All right. Yeah, there really wasn't anything that like caught my eye where I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about the Berserk thing. Some people reacted positively to the news that Berserk is going to be continued by the series editor, based on conversations and some notes that were left behind by Kentaro Miura. Other folks felt like the whatever you want to call original Berserk has already ended, and whatever comes afterwards is not going to be Berserk. I think we've talked a little bit about this before, especially when Miura passed. I have this experience with a lot of like books and other things when I was growing up with like writers who I really enjoyed, who tragically either passed away during the end stage of some story that they were telling, or they simply just stopped writing. And I have a lot of empathy for the people who try to follow on. I'm reminded of there was a book series by an author named Chris Bunch, and he died, and then his son came back and tried to finish the final book that they even had half a manuscript for. And I remember reading that last book and being like, everything's rushed, like the ending is kind of out of nowhere, and you kind of get this feeling of like, oh man, that wasn't enjoyable, but at least it got an ending.
Yeah,
I actually believe that not only Koji Mori, who is the part of the editing department over at Young Animal, which is where Berserk was being produced, and the rest of the team that is going to finish it, which includes Miura's assistants, and his studio is still around. I think Studio Gaga. So that whole team is still there, and they're going to participate in making this work. So I think that the way it looks will look like Berserk. And I
Yeah.
think that the vibe will feel like Berserk, but piecing together the plot details that Miura created and spoke to people about into something coherent, I don't have I don't have a very high bar for this, is what I'm trying to say. Because even though all the other creatives are there, it's not necessary. Like, people are going to be looking for the details that like don't quite add up, or questioning, is this what Miura would have done or said or
Yeah.
maneuvered a character? And you know what? As much as I get why you would do that, I don't care. I don't.
It
I'm
just
gonna
sounds
let
like
this
you
thing be
robbing
what it
yourself
is.
of enjoyment by doing that shit.
Yeah. And it's hard, and this is not easy, and you're talking about like finishing off a 30-year-old story that has affected a lot of people's lives. Like, I'm willing to give them a lot of rope, unless fucking Griffith like turns into a woman and starts banging fucking guts and like, something stupid, really dumb. I'll
That
give them a
has
lot of rope
happened.
on this one, a lot. So I'm just happy that there will be an ending to the story, even if it's not necessarily gonna make everybody happy. So that's the Berserk bit. Besides that, there have been a couple of teasers for live action. I know you talked about the One Piece. They put out a video looking at a lot of the set design that they have in South Africa, and I'm telling you right now, Netflix putting a lot of money into the series that is probably going to get shit all over, no matter how good or bad it is. I'm not even saying that
Yeah.
it looks like it's any good. I mean, they are building some fucking massive sets. And
Yeah.
how that translates into film and how they stylize the filming and the CGI and everything else to make it all hang together, I don't have a vision for that myself, but good luck with that. They are investing a lot of money into this. And I'm not saying you should support any series just on the basis of it being one of your favorite franchises, because I watched the Halo series and it's fucking trash. It sucks. But it wouldn't suck as much if it wasn't called Halo. And that's kind of the feeling that I going in with this. Like, this is called One Piece, and it's going to have a lot of elements visually and story-wise that make it a One Piece story. But
Yeah.
if you think this is the One Piece story, you want to compare it to the anime or the manga for what I'm using the word authenticity, you gotta let that one go.
It's
You
not
have to let it go.
realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a experiment. Everyone needs to be aware this is an experiment, because anime live action has a sordid history, especially in
Woo!
the West.
Dragon Ball.
Just,
My God.
yes, very, very bad. And what we always say as fans is, first you got to have the vision, then you got to have the money, and lastly you got to have the execution. We've seen people come in with a vision. You said Dragon Ball hurts my soul, but there was a vision for that, right? It sucked, but they had something they wanted to do. Didn't have the money, though. Certainly didn't have the execution. Then we got, like, Death Notes, sucked. Again, vision, no money, no execution. We've gotten some series that have put some money behind it lately. I'm also going to reference the Resident Evil series that's coming to Netflix as well. The money is there, the vision is something, but what about the execution? What that's the experiment, because now we're going to see with One Piece what happens when you go and try to do something with a series that is as far from realistic as you can get. I mean, imagine like a live action Cuphead, you know?
Ugh.
Like exactly that reaction, the ugh reaction. Or live action, even like Looney Tunes, like, what they have to do. They have to, do a weird thing of what they did with like a Chip and Dale movie, right?
Yeah.
Like that's or Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which, by the way, these are all examples of doing something weird and wacky on a budget, but you have the execution and the vision there. So does One Piece turn out to be received in the way Cowboy Bebop was received? because they spent a lot of money on Cowboy Bebop. A lot of money. So is that what we're getting? Are we going to get something that finally gets all three of those things right? Because again, it doesn't have to be great, but it does have to be good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm
don't
going to
know.
keep an open mind.
I'm going to tune in, but yeah. Well, we'll see.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm just going to keep an open mind. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not committing myself to a position.
I'm looking forward to the first trailer.
Yeah.
That's
and let's leave the actors alone. Like,
they're not going to do that. They're not. Are you kidding me? They're not going to do that.
I know, but I got to I'm planting my flag on that one. Like, leave the actors alone. Even with other stuff that's nowhere near as like out over the top. Like I remember all the heat that the actor who played Carlton in the Fresh Prince reboot got just over that fact that his character was sucked. Not he didn't do a bad job, and it wasn't even like people were saying that the show was bad. They just didn't. They were giving him shit because his character was a bad guy. We have One Piece where people are giving shit to actors who you haven't even seen act yet.
People are stupid like that.
Wait.
People are really dumb. They did that shit with Insecure. They did it. They don't know how to differentiate.
If you're gonna be racist,
like that.
I would. This is the thing that blows my mind. If you're invested in racism, if you wake up in the morning, you're like, my entire life revolves around letting these darkies know that they can't have nice things. If that's where you're at mentally, wouldn't you be better off waiting for brown people to fail before you start shitting on them? Like, what's with this like pre-shit? You know, like, oh, we're gonna get at these actors just for getting cast. Like, all that happens then is that you rally people who want to support them around what might objectively be a bad product. Why not at least just wait until the shit sucks? It's like the Obi-Wan thing that came out. The black woman who played
Oh
Reva.
my god, what was with that? Like, isn't that an original character?
No, but the funny part is that the problem that people had with the series wasn't even her. It was just that the series, there was backlash to the series, and then racists popped up and like, yeah, and also they cast this black woman for no reason. And it's like, why not wait for her to suck? It was only 2 episodes out. She was just fine with the crappy material that they gave her. Like, just whatever.
Oh my god. Wow. So I think that they definitely do it because they want to discourage others from at least trying.
Right.
So that's one part. But they want to do it because people like to be bullies. They want to think of like, oh, well, if we talk shit about her and blah, 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 then maybe she'll drop out of the role. And then we'll be like, yeah, you see, bullying works. We got what we fucking wanted by being a shitty fucking human. Like, which, I mean, that does not happen all the time. But there have been instances of it happening where people feel emboldened to be hateful. So, yeah, I'm not surprised, but I'm just very, like, disappointed. Or not even disappointed. I'm just kind of, like, flabbergasted that it's coming from the anime community and that it's coming from One Piece fans, where I'm literally just like, is the brain smooth? Like, did you not actually like take in what you were reading? Like, Oda, there's so many allegories to like racism, prejudice, like this, it's all over the fucking series. And you over here being the bad guy. Okay.
It's a weird situation. One thing that I always take note of is when you cut through just the vitriol and the shameless sort of pointed attacks at people's character, when you move past that and try to piece out, okay, what's the actual objection? Like 95% of the time, it doesn't even have anything to do with the people that are being attacked. It doesn't. It's like some other dissatisfaction with the thing that these individuals have identified with, or even more shallow, they're doing it because other people did it, not because they really care. And I think any person who's ever been affiliated with or at least communicated within a toxic fandom is aware of that pattern where the reasons why people are so passionate and rude and aggressive very often have almost nothing to do with the thing that they're reacting to. And as you point out, like, yes, they want, on the surface, don't cast so many black people, or like, other things. I want fairness. It doesn't seem fair. Something is unfair. But then, like, if you push them, it's like, well, what do you really want them to do? I mean, like, if the person shows up and they nail the audition, and they give them a shot, then they got a shot. And also, it's not like it's the only time you're ever gonna get these things made. I mean, if it's ironically, I was telling this to my wife the other day because it's just something that I always think about. The best strategy, if you are somebody who really hates the way a favorite thing of yours is being produced or presented to you, the best thing you could possibly do is to consume it. Because if you encourage people not to, and you're successful, they're not going to give you any more of it. They're just not going to do it. If something bombed, how many movie franchises that bomb, do you think that the studios go back and like, yeah, we should make a sequel, but we should do all the things that the racists on the internet said? None. You know what I mean? They don't come back. If you think that like Star Wars is too woke, then ironically the thing you should want is for all of Star Wars to be super successful, because what it means is that you're more likely to get tailored product that you like. If you burn the ships,
more offshoots,
they're not going to make any more.
Yeah.
Or they'll make it for the people who show up, which are going to be all the brown woke people that you don't like.
I mean, yeah, that is what it is. And they're going to show up regardless because people love to hate watch.
Yes, so that's the best part. The best thing for you to do is to show up. You talk a lot of shit. You show up anyway, but then you do it because you hate it now. Because it's not yours anymore. So just like skip the hate. Why just all right, I'm gonna watch it. Or if you really don't like it, if it's not enjoyable to you, go watch something else.
No,
why don't you pull your money together and make a new Star Wars just for racists?
Because misery loves company, so they have to bitch about it online, and they have to find other people to hate it with them. Then they have to hate watch it, and then they have to come back and circle jerk and hate on it even more with fine-tuned details. Yeah. And then every week they're like, oh, and look at this woke ass fuck shit that they inserted. And then, it's just a nonstop circle jerk of them just being miserable. And it's most likely something from their actual real life that's making them miserable, but they're attributing it to this.
Do you recall, I don't know if you watched Star Wars Visions when it was the first volume that was released? So that was the Star Wars project where they got a lot of animation studios.
Yeah, like Studio Trigger and shit.
Yeah. So just for those who are not familiar. But as a Star Wars fan, I don't think Visions was like fantastic. There were a couple of good shorts in there, like any collection of shorts. There could be some that really work for one group of people and some that really work for others. But it wasn't like a knock out of the park home run every time. But the idea behind that is kind of the way I see all adaptations, which is my hope in life is to get many versions or like of a popular idea or IP filtered through different people's eyes. I want that opportunity, right?
Like Batman.
Exactly. I don't need every one of them to be for me. I don't need every one of them to be any good, to be honest. But having more opportunity opens up the door for more and more stuff that I can attach to, or I can come to love later, or I can come to appreciate later. That said, I'm one of those captive fans who winds up going and seeing a lot of stuff where at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't really like this. I don't like what they did. I think, I have all these criticisms, whether they are things like casting, when it came to like Hayden Christensen and his performance in the prequel trilogy, or in say a One Piece, where if I don't know any of these actors, but I'm sure there's some of them that aren't going to do a great job because I look at their backgrounds and this might be the second or third serious show that they've gotten. But the thing is that I don't expect them to be great. I don't expect anything to be great. I just want there to be opportunity to do more, which means that ultimately you want to support the stuff that you like, even if it's only for the opportunity. Now, if you feel like you're getting like ripped off, if you feel like you're being abused as a fan, but for whatever reason, I will tell you this, the same thing. I say the same thing to the racists and the non-racists. Say the same thing to the mega fans, to the casuals. If you don't like what you're watching, seeing, just don't watch it. You don't have to hate watch it to be part of the conversation. You could just talk about something else. There's 10,000 other things out there that are probably to your liking. Just go do those things. Don't waste your time or anyone else's. Because, like, I promise you, on Twitter, I block people.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh.
I block them. Like, someone gets shit, blocked. Instantly blocked. And my life is fine. I don't need to engage with things that I don't like. Same for media. So, that's how.
Boundaries.
Just block.
So, recommendations. Oh, well, I guess I'll just copy your recommendations. Yeah, go read the shit that I talked about earlier that James already recommended weeks ago. But you really should go read FFF Class Hero. You should really go read that. Like, ASAP. Like, read the first, what was it, 10? Chapter 10?
Yeah,
go read
chapter
the first
10
10
is
chapters.
when it's like...
Go read the first 10 chapters.
It goes from, like, comedy, like, to, like, something
Just
a lot different.
just
a lot different.
Just right on. Just not even like a slant. Just like that. Just like immediate. Yeah. Those would be my recommendations for the week. What are yours?
So the big one, the big one, which is no news to anybody, is Tower of God. Catch up on Tower. If you're not reading Tower of God, catch up on Tower of God. We just wrapped up. Crazy.
Wait, is it over? Did they get to the teleporter?
Yeah, things have happened. So we're
okay.
On
wait,
to the
I
next
think
one.
okay. I think I'm like a week behind. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go. Okay.
Yeah. So read Tower of God. If you ain't reading Tower of God right now.
Oh yeah, cause Homeboy. Well, the most recent thing that I remember was Homeboy did that. Nigga's powers is the book or whatever the fuck. He whipped that book out, and I was like, oh, he's a sage. I love it. Oh my god. I fucking love it. Let's go.
So all the stuff with like the Lopobia family is kind of like wrapped up. They got to the teleporter ship. More shit happened. Yasaracha is now like, okay, all right. He's okay.
Of course.
You got me. I felt something when he broke his last core and Yama grabbed his body and jumped onto the teleporter. It's like he was. The relationship between him and Yama's dad and like his mom.
I'm shocked we haven't seen Yama's mama's thing. I'm surprised it didn't come out. So that means it's gonna be in the back of my head constantly.
That's right. So you got me. I'm so fucking pissed because I was like, can we have one motherfucker that we could just hate?
I mean, we do have one, but she ain't getting her shit.
Well, yeah, but she's not even in the fucking story right now.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Like, if you have a Rachel, it's kind of asking a lot to have a more absolutely hateable pieces of shit. Because, like, Rachel to me is above what I used to think was my most hated character, which is Nashitanya from...
my God.
I hate Nashitanya.
Oh my God, we've been recommending y'all go go watch that shit. So if you got spoiled on that, you got spoiled. We've been Rocko no Yisha. We've been recommending it.
Yes, I hate Nashitanya. However, Rachel took me to new levels of just utter disdain. Just like wanting every bad thing in the world to happen to someone and them not to die, to have more bad things happen to them. I don't know how that's possible, but I hate Rachel. So I guess it's asking a lot to have a series that gave me Rachel and then also have me hate every single... Or like having someone to...
Like mid-bosses or some shit?
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
I get it. Like, everyone's got a tragic life and you can redeem some people in the story. And the Tower of God formula is to, like, have a bad guy that you spend a lot of time with. And then once you learn a lot about them, you kind of... get reintroduced to them in different ways over the course of the story. Because if you really think about it, a lot of people have died. Lots of characters have died. But they've managed to grow the cast. And some of that growth is bringing in back. Because like Yama was a villain, right?
Yeah.
Well, he sent that motherfucker to kill Bam in the beginning, that other dog.
Oh,
at the, workshop battle.
Oh, he did send him, and now that is not even a fucking problem.
Exactly, and you're told that he's like enslaving people, and just an overall piece of shit. I figured that Yama was gonna be one of those like one and done kind of bad guys who just because he's strong and mindless, they get rid of him. Nope, that I have so much pathos for that story. Then
Yeah.
found out that Yasuracho was involved in the stuff with the cats, and like, all right, I was like, fine, fuck that guy. We can focus our energy on him. All right, now he's sympathetic too. Then it's like now we're meeting the heads of the families. I'm like, can we just like fucking kill Trauma Ray? Can we be mad at this nigga? Like,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
no, I bet you we
Mm-mm.
won't, because the other dude, the other family member who gave Rachel the special
Yeah.
eel thing, he's now like kind of a good guy because he attacked the place and
Yeah.
gave them an opening. So I'm like, who can I hate besides Rachel? Who? So.
And you know he gave her some other shit. I know he
Oh
gave
yeah,
her some
yeah.
other
No,
shit.
that's gonna fuck up the end of the story. I already know that, so I'm
Oh my
prepared.
god.
I'm prepared. My anger has festered. It is ready to come out. So I'm sure in this next arc we'll see Rachel again because that nigga's back and he's like her benefactor now and whatever. But anyway, if you not reading Tower of God, go read Tower of God. New arc. Let's go. New characters.
And everything that we've just said now, you won't remember because you have
no,
so
you won't
much
remember.
to
Yeah, trust me. When you're like chapter 250, staring down the barrel of another like 300 chapters, you'd be like, "What did the motherfucker say? What are they talking about?"
You will not
Don't
remember.
even worry about it.
You will not remember.
So that's just a general recommendation because I'm really enjoying that. But I picked up a series this week that is very early on in its serialization, called Gachiakuta. It's all one word. And I don't know what hit me to go take a look at this. No recommendation. I think I may have seen some like cover art. For a few weeks, it was kind of bubbling around some of the spaces that, you know, I like to frequent.
Mm-hmm.
So Gachiakuta is a manga series. It's written by Kei Urana, and it's got a very like what's the right way to describe the artwork? It's very well defined, and it's also really cool because there's a known graffiti artist in Japan named Ando Hideyoshi who does like graffiti designs all over the series. But if you don't know him and you don't know his work, you might miss it because it's like in the background. So the story revolves around a orphan named Rudo who lives in a slum with his foster father, and the slum is basically populated by tribal folk. They don't really give another definition for these people, but they're all treated like criminals, and they're basically separated from the rest of the city by a wall. And then on the other side of their slum community is something called the Abyss, which is like a dump site for where trash and sometimes criminals are exiled. And so it's an area that's feared by the people in the slum, and the main character is a thief, a trash thief, who goes on the other side of the wall and steals garbage that the wealthier upper part of the civilization sort of discards when they're done with it.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that gets done. And previously his father was executed as a criminal and dumped into the Abyss. And so very quickly he gets caught up in a murder of his foster father and is blamed for the killing. And so his punishment is to get dumped into the Abyss, which he quickly finds out the Abyss is not what anybody was told. And it kind of sets off from there on a revenge mission to kill the person who killed his family, because you know he has no idea what's going on. But it's much more of a creative and it's creative, but it's also a more traditional shonen battle series. But it's very brutal, and the kind of there's like a mixture of what are called trash creatures, which are very bizarre, semi-sentient piles of garbage that take on different shapes and have different abilities, and they're one antagonist. And then there are specially gifted humans that can turn objects like physical or non-biological objects into weapons so long as they're in their hands. And so It's really cool because the power system is one that's based on the experience that a person has with a particular object. The more you use something, the more, and you have this ability, the better and more wild you're able to go with the imbuing of your power into that thing, which like transforms it. So like a pair of gloves might become claws, or in your hands, a piece of chain might turn into like a blood whip that has spikes on it, but it only works as long as you're touching it. And so there's it's a very small cast, which I like. It's just the main character has one other companion, but the world building is fun. The art style is like really cool. It hasn't been running that long. I think it's only a couple or few months old as a series.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I'm looking forward to following this one, especially given that I'm trying to remember what magazine this is published in. It's not a Jump creation. So I don't quite remember where it's serialized, but ironically, I think that makes it more likely to survive. So I'm quite excited, and I love there's like these panels. How do I say this? It reminds me of like a mix of like Fire Force and a little bit of JoJo, a little bit of Attack on Titan, a little bit, but like the characters have so much attitude, and the paneling and the panel order does a really good job with like cutting action shots with extreme close-ups of like body parts and faces and other things that are stretched and twisted and turned in ways that give you all the motion. So I've just had a great time getting to know this new series. So I recommend Gachiakuta as, something to look out for. And then I have an anti-recommendation, and this is just a warning.
Okay, this is what I was looking for.
Do not read Konchiki. Just don't read it, okay?
I don't even know what it is, y'all. Either.
Bug fucking.
He warned me by what?
Bug fucking.
Okay.
The second chapter's title is Dear Mr. Penis.
Oh my god. Who told you about this?
He who shall not be named.
Oh my god. Where do you niggas find these things?
On my shit list for that one.
Where do y'all find these?
On my shit list.
Oh my god. Okay, no. I don't even want to. Okay. All right. That's it for this. That's it for the week. That's it for the week. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Twitter, anime_savants, Anime Savants on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Yeah.
You can hit me on Twitter at Neural Handshake as usual. And yeah, that's it this week.
Yeah, we're almost to episode 100. Almost there.
We doing big things.
All right. Bye.
Peace.